Hi everyone, my name is Alex Frankel. I'm a program manager for Azure Blueprints. And today we're going to walk through creating a basic blueprint in the Azure portal from scratch. So right now I'm in the Getting Started experience for Blueprints, which is the home page for the blueprints in the portal. I can get to Blueprints in the portal by clicking on All Services and then just simply searching for Blueprints. And on the Getting Started page, I have a simple overview of how Blueprints works, which involves creating the blueprint, assigning that blueprint to a particular subscription, and tracking the lifecycle of that blueprint assignment so that I can delete it, lock it, update it, all those sorts of things. So let's start by creating the blueprint. When I land on the blueprint definition create page, I am asked to start by giving a name for my blueprint. So we'll call this test blueprint 123. I can give this blueprint a description. This is a sample blueprint. And then I'm asked to pick a definition location. The blueprint definitions themselves are saved in something called a management group. Management groups are a relatively new feature that you may or may not have enabled yet. If you haven't enabled it, you can just go to All Services and search for Management Groups and click on Management Groups. When you land on that page, you'll be asked to get started with Management Groups, which is just a single button click, and that will create your first management group, and then you can start to use Blueprints. Of course, I already have a management group created, so let's open this up and choose our management group. I have one here called Azure Blueprint. And then once I've picked a definition location, I can move on to the artifacts step. And this is really the core of what blueprints are, which is adding and managing the artifacts in my blueprint. So I know that I'm adding artifacts to the subscription because I have subscription called out here. Of course, we don't know what subscription that we're assigning the blueprint to yet because we're only creating the blueprint definition. We will assign the blueprint in a separate step. So let's add our first artifact to this blueprint by clicking the Add Artifact button and open the artifact type picker. And here I have a few options. I can add a policy, which would be adding a policy assignment to the subscription, a role assignment that I could scope to the subscription. I can add an Azure Resource Manager or an ARM template that gets created or deployed at the subscription level. And you can use ARM templates at the subscription to create things like role definitions or policy definitions or enable features like Azure Security Center. And then you can also create one or more resource groups, and those themselves can contain even more artifacts. So let's actually start by creating a resource group, and we'll add all of our artifacts to that resource group. Here I can choose to fill out some information at the definition level, or I can choose to not fill these out and fill them out at assignment time. So I'm going to not fill out the resource group name and just have it be a placeholder for now. But I will choose the location. I want all my resource groups in this particular blueprint to be created in the East US data center. So I'll select that and click Add, and we've added our first artifact to the blueprint. Next, I will add a new artifact to this resource group specifically. So let's open up our artifact type chooser. And this time, we'll see that there's no resource group listed here because you can't create a resource group within a resource group. So let's add a policy assignment. And here, I'm given the list of all the policies, whether they're built-in or custom, that I have access to within this management group where we save the blueprint definition. So let's add a policy here to audit VMs that aren't using managed disks. And just like that, we've added a policy artifact to the resource group within our blueprint definition. Let's keep going. Let's add a role assignment. So same thing, we'll choose role assignment here. The role, I'll choose, in this case, to be an owner. So whoever's getting this role will be added as an owner to this resource group. And again, I can choose to fill out the user or the group now, or I can choose to fill it out when I assign the blueprint. So if I want to fill it out now, I can just uncheck this box and choose the user, service principal, application, or group that I want to give this owner access to. So I have my Contoso infrastructure team here. So I'll choose them and click Add. And now we've added that role assignment to the blueprint definition. And lastly, let's add an ARM template. And this gives you a lot of flexibility to add almost any Azure resource to be deployed with an Azure blueprint. We'll give the ARM template artifact a name. So I'm going to create a virtual network. So we'll call it virtual network. I can give a description optionally. And then I need to supply the actual template details. I can choose to bring in an external file if I have that repo locally on my machine, or I can simply copy and paste some ARM template code that I want to use. And let's go ahead and do that. So I have an ARM template here that creates a virtual network, as well as a couple virtual network subnets. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. And we'll go back to our artifact panel, and we will simply add this artifact here. We'll validate that the ARM template is syntactically correct. We'll click Add, and now we have a basic blueprint. The blueprint is going to create a resource group, and then within that resource group, it's going to assign this policy, assign this RBAC role as an owner, and also deploy and create a virtual network with 2 subnets. We simply click Save Draft,